What's up guys, my name is Raymond Scott and this is my first video. Welcome, thank you for checking this video out. Before you say anything, I'm ripping off CDTV Productions. I'm not. He is one of the goats of YouTube, rap critics, whatever you want to call it. Him, Sean C. are great. But no, it is actually 2 in the morning and I didn't want to do my hair. And if I make videos in the future, which I will, I probably will wear beanies anyway because I don't like doing my hair for videos or really anything unless I have to. So yeah, that's why I'm wearing this. I thought of this idea. I really am inspired by it because I think I have some good points to make with it. So you probably read the title and you're like, fuck yes it is. But I think you should hear me out when I'm trying to really ask, is Eminem's Revival really that bad? Now this video is a little late to the date, obviously, of Revival coming out. It is 2019 February and Revival came out in 2017 December, so you guys are probably wondering, why am I making this now? Well, the reason I'm making this now is because I recently, very recently, as a matter of fact, it might have been like yesterday or 2 days ago, I re-listened to Revival. I hadn't really heard it in full length. I think I only honestly listened to it in full length once, and that was when it came out, because Eminem was the first rapper I ever heard of. I don't know how old I was, but I'm from Ohio, and my dad is a huge Ohio State Buckeyes fan, and so am I. But when I was little, I wanted to be, when I grew up, a football player on Ohio State. Of course, then I didn't know that you didn't get paid in college, and my dad doesn't really watch professional football at all, so I didn't even know about, getting paid to play football. But I'd look up, I had this costume, Ohio State costume, and I was a Buckeye player for Halloween, but I looked up on YouTube, I don't even know what I looked up, but I found these Buckeye tribute videos, and one of the videos that was my favorite video was pictures and videos of Ohio State with Till I Collapse in the background, and I didn't know at the time that was Eminem, but I loved it. And I do remember this one time, I don't know how I remember this, but I remember my dad screaming to me, "Hey, Raymond, I love the meaning of the video, but I don't like those words." And I didn't, what words? Because I didn't realize what cuss words meant. I was really little, maybe 6, maybe even younger than that. Over time, I did hear about him, and Recovery was my shit in 6th grade. I started loving Eminem, and he was the first rapper that really got me into rapping. So to this day, although overall, he is my favorite rapper. If anyone's gonna say that's because I'm white and he's white, no. Because if you look at Eminem, I mean, he's a genius, so the color doesn't matter, obviously. But yeah, he's definitely my favorite rapper for sure. Do I see how Revival disappointed some people? Yes, I do. And did it disappoint me in some ways? Yes. But I'm gonna go over some points that I do think should be made, even though it is late. But hey, it's always good to reflect. On Kamikaze, which was a great, return and reply to Revival. Well, he did say auto-tune. Maybe if it was auto-tuned, people would have understood it. But I don't think he's that dumb. He knows that that's not why people didn't get it. But he did say that some people didn't get Revival. And I do think I kind of see maybe where he's coming from with that. So, yeah, let's just dive right into this. I have some points to make. Written them down, I've scripted this video, and yeah, let's get started. So, Revival has 19 songs on it. There's only about 2, not counting the Revival interlude and the Remind Me intro, that are not on my playlist, which I'll get to. Because even though there's problems with a lot of the songs, and some of the songs have a lot of problems, they're still good songs at the end of the day. Would I recommend them to a friend? No, because some of them, yes, I think people be like, why are you listening to this? But we'll go over that. So I wrote down some topics I want to cover. I think when it came to the instrumental, people found it very awkward that he was rapping over these rock beats, which I did get, and some of the times it did not work. An example of that, in my opinion, I think is Untouchable. I think it was almost like he was behind, his voice was behind in the beat. It was really weird, how that sounded at times, but I do like that song, to be honest. So I think people were expecting, because the album he had released before that was Marshall Mathers LP2, which had really good beats, but that even did Survival had guitar. So I think people were just kind of confused. But it wasn't even. I think the thing was that it didn't work at times, and I do think that's one of the weaker spots of the album is that it didn't work at times, the beats, so like the rock beats. But there's also really good moments where this worked. Like, I do think Remind Me is a good song. You know, that's obviously, what's the actual song called? I Love Rock and Roll. Like, I think that did work, honestly. Framed is a rock style song, which is one of my favorites off the album. You know, you have In Your Head, where he literally samples Zombie by the Cranberries, which is a rock and roll band, which I do want to get to that song because there is something that I do want to say about that song specifically. Heat, probably one of the cringiest songs on the album, but I do think that it worked well, like with the beat and everything. But another thing that went with this was the bad, like, choppy flow he did. You know, people said his flow was really off, which I do get. And I honestly think that there was at least a little bit of that on each song, honestly, that you could probably point out. I know a lot of people found problems with his flow on Believe. I get what they were saying, but at the same time, that's one of my favorites off the album. Or Septic, his flow is a little bit off. And I do admit, like, I think when people, like, say, oh, M's so old, he's 40, whatever, I do think his flow kinda doesn't help that or support it, because that does help. That does show that maybe, like, as he's gotten older, his flow's gotten a little bit off. But, you know, I think that if you look past it, it's okay. It didn't bother me as much as a lot of other, like, people were saying about it, but, you know, I at the same time, I do get what they were saying. The number one thing that people had a problem with, in my opinion, was the cringy lyrics. I feel like everyone not only had a problem with it, but to some degree had a right to, because some of the lyrics are just not even laughable. Some of the lyrics, I admit, made me go like, oh my gosh, stop. And the bad thing was, I was actually at school doing a project on the computer, and I was listening to this, and I think it was Heat that I listened to, which, like I said, is probably the most cringy lyrical song in the album. But yeah, I don't know. One of the problems I had was when Eminem said "it's lit" or whatever he said, like, on Believe, and I don't know what that song was, but he said, like, called a girl lit, and not just because he's like 40 or whatever, but the lit thing really bothered me in general when teens would use it. So, and that was like a extreme, like, I'm trying to fit in and be cool, but it was almost to the point where it's like, is he joking? But yeah, some of the lyrics on here, you know, the booty is heavy duty like diarrhea on Remind Me. Actually watching people's reaction to that on YouTube was hilarious to me. Tabby had a great reaction to that. The thing about the Mile High Club, I forget the exact words, but that was literally like what a 11-year-old white rapper could have came up with. That air about me like wind chimes. Chloroseptic didn't really have a meaning, really. You know, the prettiest eyes. I know people had a lot of problem with how he just started randomly talking about that. When the track list was announced, there's no rapper on the album except Fresher, which he didn't even rap on the song, which was Chloroseptic. Eminem had a good point in the Sway interview that he did for Kamikaze, the only interview he did, which I wish he would have done more, because I love watching Eminem interviews. They're so entertaining. Like, they're entertaining as fuck. But he did say, like, the reason he dropped Kamikaze like he did, like a surprise drop, was because if you announce it, you give people time to compare. I do feel like if maybe he wouldn't have dropped the track list, people would have had more open mind, because he did have a point with that, and I do want to make that clear. He did have a point to that. But yeah, some of the features on here I do like. I think Walk on Water is a great feature. I think her voice, Beyonce's voice, fits it good. Ex-Ambassador's Bad Husband was great. I think Skylar Grey is a very, very talented vocalist, and I don't know why people consider Travis Getting such a bad song, because it's actually one of my favorites. I do like it a lot. The Kalani feature was okay. I mean, it was kind of a pointless track, but whatever. Kalani sounds nice as always. The Pink Need Me is one of the songs that it's not my list. I just don't like the song, not necessarily because of Pink, but to be honest, her voice did bother me sometimes in that song. But Eminem and Pink, I Won't Back Down is one of my. Yeah, I actually didn't like. It wasn't that I didn't like it, but I didn't realize how good of a song it was till recently, which is actually really cool because I love it. Which is a great motivating song. But yeah, that was like the first song he performed after his drug addiction, which is. If you have the time, pull up Eminem Casino Park or whatever. It's him in Detroit, the comeback show. It Won't Back Down. Watch that, it's really cool. But yeah, I think the featured, like the track list when he announced that, it did like ruin people's expectations and people didn't go into it with an open mind. But alright, something I did want to talk about was why In Your Head it was ruined for me. In Your Head is still on my playlist because I do think it is a good song, his verses, but I sampled Zombie by the Cranberries on that song, which is a great song. My dad loves that song, and I do too. But when at the beginning, you know, it gives you like this really, like, you think that you're gonna, this expectation is gonna be this great song with that sample throughout it. But when the chorus hits, which is just that song, it's dreadful. Almost. It's like the guitar is way too loud. The voice is literally like in the background. Like, listen to that. It's so distorted and it really ruins it. I think it is the guitar that's way too loud. That I don't know what it is, but it's just, listen to it and you'll see what I mean. Other than that, though, that song's really good and it did have potential. But that does kind of bring me into my next point, which is the mixing. I do see what a lot of people said when they said the mixing, it sounds awful. Which, it's definitely the worst mixed Eminem album, I think. Probably. Which I do get what you're saying, and it to the point where it's kind of bothersome at times. So I do think he could have done way better mixing. I think people just, in the long run, it wasn't that it's necessarily a bad album. I mean, obviously people have their own opinions, but people just perceived it in the wrong way. For me, the best songs on here was Walk on Water. I did 5 for each. I did 5 best songs, 5 worst songs. So the best songs, not in any order, was Walk on Water, Believe, River, Tragic Endings, and Framed, which Framed is probably my favorite. I don't know, but yeah. And the reason I do like Framed so much is because you get the Slim Shady vibe to it. You know, he's talking about killing people, which I'm not saying it's good, but you know what I mean, Slim Shady. I'm not saying I like killing people, but you know, you get the, and it's complex, so that's cool. And then the worst songs for me, Offended, which I think he meant for it to sound bad, but it was just horrible. The mixing on that song was horrible. Even though I do think it was meant to kind of be bad, it was just, but everybody hates me, everybody wants to see me eat someone. It's just, no. Need Me, like I said, remind me just because of the cringy lyrics, because Need Me and Offended were the only two songs that didn't make my playlist. But I wanted to pick 3 more, but Remind Me only for the lyrics, In Your Head for what I said, like, I don't like how it's mixed at all in the chorus part of it, and then that it's good. And then Like Home. I don't want to get political, but I think the BET Cypher was enough. He literally made a diss on Donald Trump with that whole song. And it was kind of unnecessary. And I do think when Eminem gets into political, he gets to, like, if you don't think what I think, I mean, he's said it before, like, with the BET Cypher, even though he said in The Ringer he regrets it, then you're evil, fuck off, whatever. So he was basically saying in that song with, this is the land, saying if you support Trump, you're not part of America, basically. That's how I perceived it, but yeah, I think the BET Cypher was enough. Which I do think the BET Cypher, he had some good points, but Like Home, for me, the main reason I didn't really like it was because it was really dramatic, and, like, the beat was literally, like, if you take the words out, it's like what you play before a rally on TV, so, I don't know, but, like I said, Offended and Need Me were, like, the only songs that, like, I didn't like at all, so. I'm trying to think of all the other songs I didn't cover. Covered Walk on Water, Believe, Floor Septic, Untouchable. River is good. I think that is actually a really good song. It has a really good point, like I said, a complex point. Remind Me intro is kind of pointless. He could have just made it one song. The Revival interlude, I don't know who was singing on that, but I thought it was kind of stupid because he didn't even do anything for it. Literally nothing, I don't think. I covered that. Bad Husband, great point. Kind of what I think he hadn't really talked about Kim in a while, so I think that was a great, like, return song. And I do think X Ambassadors did a great job on that song. Tragic Endings, I talked about that. Framed, Nowhere Fast, I kind of touched on that. I think it was very pointless, but it sounded nice. Oh, I did not cover Castle and a Rose. I think those songs were brilliant lyrically. I'm pretty sure he did write those when he said, but I think those were really cool songs. I think you can enjoy those even if you don't necessarily like the beat or the instrumental. And I'm not saying I didn't, but I really enjoyed the lyrics, so that was really cool to listen to. So yeah, that's like the things I wanted to cover. Now let's talk about Is It a Bad Album? Like I said, I think people have, obviously people do have the right to their own opinion, but I do think people kind of like perceived it once the track listing was leaked, or not leaked, he did post it, but they did not go in with an open mind. I think that if they didn't like one song, they automatically didn't like the rest, and I don't think they appreciated it. They didn't appreciate it in the last X. You know, they take the cringy lyrics, but look how the beat actually did sound nice. So is Revival a bad album? In my opinion, no. Is it a great album? No. Should it be hated on like it is? No. And that's the point I want to get across. In my opinion, I don't think it should be. And I do think that people should look at it as it is. And definitely, in my opinion, Kamikaze is a greater album, which I wish had more tracks on it. But hey, it was more of like a reply album, and I really do hope we get an album from Eminem in 2019. Please let me know what you think of Revival in the comments down below, and if your opinion changed on it over time, because I'm really interested in that, and what your favorite songs are, least favorite songs are, and your opinion on like the whole hatred of it. Also, let me know what other videos you want to see. I want to start doing this. I'm really, really excited to kick off this channel. I got this idea, I was inspired by, you know, other YouTube rap critics like CDT Productions, Sean C. You know, those are the main ones, but there's so many others. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what I should do next. I like all rap music, and I love all music. So if you want me to do other genres too, I can. I want to do reactions. This video makes me look fat. I'm not that fat, and it makes my acne look bad, which acne is bad, but not as bad as it makes me seem. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time. Don't know what the video is going to be, but I will see you next time. Bye.